Alison Sturrock, the new addition to the Marlin community.
She's a very happy and energetic person, and she's all about the environment.
Although I am not as enthusiastic about the environment as she is, I see great passion with her, and I can see how she has great enthusiasm for the environment and trying to make a change in the world.
Raw passion that she has, and how she doesn't want to give up.
Has this set of rules which helps the environment, including no use of plastic wraps, etc. So that is like a start to improve the environment.
Miss Alison has a great passion for the environment and what makes every single thing possible to help the environment.
So we really want to recycle at this school, but we notice that every time we try and start the recycling, what ends up happening is the plastic is dirty. We had a bunch of NHS students stay after school on a Thursday just trying to clean and sort things. And so we were like, okay, how can we try and make it as easy as possible for people to actually rinse their plastic? And I was like, okay, what if we had a rinsing station directly beside the recycling bin so that people could recycle or rinse and recycle in the exact same spot. They wouldn't have to go to the bathroom. They wouldn't have to go anywhere else. It would just be right there. So we were like, oh, maybe we should design something super fancy. But that never happened. And it wouldn't happen for a long time to get something super fancy. So Mr. Dillon actually went into the school graveyard, as they call it, where all the random bits and bobs that are not needed anymore are put. And he found this little kiddie pool. And he's like, this will be perfect. And so we just set it up and we started advertising it to all of the students who were in the cafeteria. And it worked really well.
Okay, now for the paper that we talked to Mr. Dillon. He
Yes.
told me it was your idea.
Well, yes. Mr. Dillon started looking into recycling paper, and he researched that you need this decal, and we're sitting next to each other, and he's like, how are we going to get a decal? So we're like looking on Amazon. But eventually, he actually found a bunch of the materials just lying around, like old bits of wood, old bits of screen, and all of the materials at the school that we're using to make the recycled paper is made of recycled materials. There's nothing that we bought. It was completely free. It was all put together at the school. And then he's been doing it with his third grade class, and it's been a real success. And Miss Lynette made little bookmarks out of them too, which is really cute. So we're hoping that we can make like little gifts for family members for Christmas out of the recycled paper. And if we get more decals, we can do bigger things like poster boards or other things that we can make. We want to get a compost up and running. The compost came from the idea of there's a lot of food waste, not just plastic waste. There's a lot of food waste, and what can we do about this? Right now, Eco Services, who takes our garbage, isn't taking any food waste. They're just taking plastics and things like that. They're not taking food waste. So we were like, oh, well, if they're not taking organics, then who is going to take the organics? Which would be perfect for a school garden and compost. But in order for us to do it, we need to make sure that there's specific plans and locations of where we would like to set up the garden, where we would like to set up the compost. We're going to hopefully start in January a small prototype that won't be sufficient for probably the whole school's waste. The advantage is that if food waste is decomposing in a landfill versus a compost, it's going to produce a lot more greenhouse gases. It's going to be worse for the environment, and it's going to take longer for it to decompose versus if it's naturally put back into soil, it'll create really nutritious soil, actually, so that we can create a school garden as well. So I have never actually built a compost, so this is going to be a new project for me and the green team and Mr. Dillon and everyone involved. So I hope it works.
How should I say?
We
We
don't
don't need a bunch of
million
people doing it
people,
perfectly. We need a
doing
bunch of people
everything
doing
for the
it
environment
imperfectly.
perfectly. Or we don't need like one person doing it perfectly. We need a million people doing it imperfectly. I love that quote. That's a really good quote that I heard from someone.
We don't need a handful of people doing zero waste perfectly. We need millions of people doing it imperfectly.